Good evening.
Good evening. I don't know what happened. It just...
Yeah, it came up anyway. I made it.
Okay.
I'm still, when I tried to click on, when I clicked on share screen for the agenda, that's the only option I have is the whiteboard.
Okay, I'm gonna share, I'm gonna change the setting right now.
Okay.
Hello, Mayor Thomas. How are you?
Good. Okay. I don't know what happened, everyone. Just
Hello?
started a whole
Can you hear me?
meeting. Yeah, we can hear you.
I can't hear you.
Can everyone else hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you too.
Okay.
Is your thing on silent?
Oh, okay, Kayla.
Is your thing on silent?
Yeah, it is on for Kayla.
No, I'm saying.
Hi, Kayla. How are you? Vinny, can you do me a favor?
How are you?
Can you please get my computer, my laptop, and see if you can plug it
I'm
in?
gonna ask that everyone go on mute, please.
Just turn it on.
Just on 2 seconds.
I can't hear this.
That's what I'm saying. Let me see 2 seconds.
Turn it on.
Are you muted?
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Clerk, can you share your screen, please?
Nothing but the whiteboard still. I don't understand.
All right. Kayla, can you try sharing your screen?
Yes. Hold on one moment.
Okay.
You want me to share the agenda?
Yes, please.
Okay. Hold on for one moment. I do see the whiteboard that Sharon's talking about.
That's all you see? Okay.
But hold on. Let me just. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, man. It says disabled participant screen sharing. Hold on. Did you disable it? Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Right now.
It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Try it
Okay.
again.
All right. Do you see anything? Do you see anything?
No.
There,
Okay. Yeah, I see your screen, but I see your mailbox.
Okay, hold on. Do you see anything?
No, it's a black screen. Okay, I'll just share my screen. It's fine.
I could see, oh wait, it says your screen sharing is paused. Somebody paused it. Resume sharing. Do you see it now?
I see your screen. I see your mailbox.
Why is it doing
So
that?
that's a part of setting those boundaries, this is what.
I'm
this
going to
is
ask
what I
everyone
will
to
not
please
tolerate.
put your phone
This is
on mute.
This does something too, like I can't get beyond this, so please don't do this.
All right. Okay, I'll share my screen. Agenda. Share. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. All right, good evening, everyone. Please stand or sit up straight for the Pledge of Allegiance. You can place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, can you do the invocation, please?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, O Lord, and your many blessings. We thank you, Father, for all that you do, for entering into this meeting. We thank you, Father, for allowing us to assemble via this platform. And Father, I pray that you come into this meeting and grant the governing body the wisdom and knowledge to lead and direct this town in accordance to your will. We thank you and give you all the praise. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right, I'm going to read the Open Public Meetings Act. In accordance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, notice of this meeting is posted on the Borough of Pensgrove Municipal Bulletin Board designed for that purpose. Notice was also posted on the Borough of Pensgrove website at www.pensgrove-nj.org and was emailed to the official newspaper as provided by resolution. Madam Clerk, can you please read the names for roll call?
Mr. Burkute, Ms. Mincy, Mr. Oliver, Mr. Pasquale, Ms. Scott.
Do we not have? How many council folks do we have on the line?
Let's see.
Don't have none.
Nope, not that I'm seeing.
I only see Mr. Pasquale.
Mr. Pasquale,
Yes. Yeah, unmute yourself.
Okay, I just want to verify with everyone, this is not a technical issue. If we don't have enough, then the meeting will be a committee meeting and we'll proceed without votes.
When you proceed without votes, what happens to the issues at hand?
Repeat your question. I'm sorry. Who was speaking? Please state your name.
I'm sorry, say that again, I couldn't hear.
Who's speaking? Could you state your name for me, please?
My name is Cesar Valenciano.
Okay, and what was your question?
if you proceed without votes, what happens to the issues or to the,
Oh, well, the meeting would just be, it'd just be for information for the public to get an update. But we'll have to shut the official council meeting down and we'll have to reschedule it for another date because we don't have enough council members on the call to conduct business. So with that being said, Madam Clerk, we'll have to set another date for this council meeting for these items.
Okay. When would you like to reschedule it? Or do you want to talk about it tomorrow, or what are we gonna?
We can discuss it tomorrow.
There's Carol.
But okay, that's only two. And we can discuss it tomorrow, but my plan is to make it for Friday and discuss important issues on the agenda.
Okay.
And we can also add a closed session to the agenda as well.
We wouldn't have enough time to advertise for this Friday.
Okay, so then maybe we can schedule it for next Tuesday then. Will that give us enough time, or do we need to push it out to Wednesday because you need 3 days to advertise?
At least 48 hours, yes. So that would be enough time.
Tuesday or Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Can you actually hear me?
Oh, there's Lou.
Hi, Lou. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I was hearing your voices, but I didn't have a screen. And now I got the screen.
Okay. All right. So this meeting is going to be rescheduled for next Tuesday. There are 41 people on the call, so we will proceed with sharing information. Sharing information to the general public. So one thing I would like to make a note of. There's a few things that I want to share with the community. I'm going to share the Salem County website for COVID-19. But as you may know right now, there have been some changes to the Penns Grove Police Department. And by state and federal law, as the mayor, I am forbidden to discuss this matter. There's an investigation underway, and I will update council in closed session in a special meeting next week. I will take that opportunity to also update council on pending litigation and personnel matters. Yesterday, just as many other Penns Grove residents, my house was devastated by the rising water and the wind. I got some flooding in my garage and basement, and a lot of my personal items were destroyed. As you will see in this agenda, we are taking steps to address the sewers, flooding, staffing changes that must be made to deal with stormwater management, irrigation, and other issues. You will also see that our grant writers are raising money to get state and federal aid. I too am frustrated on how long it's taken to make progress on these issues, but I just want to ensure everyone that progress will be made. We have a resolution 104. Let me see if I can scroll down for you guys.
Put my face on there. Please.
Get up in the mirror. Get up in there.
No,
Oh.
I don't want to be on there.
Okay, this is the resolution. Let me move this. This is the resolution authorizing a professional service agreement between the Borough of Penns Grove and Triad Associates for grant services for infrastructure improvement to the pumping station at Delaware Avenue and Mill Street. So this agenda, this item on the agenda, what it has to do with is we received a grant in the amount of $400,000 to upgrade and repair the 2 main pumps. This was initially approved in January, and the documentation was sent to the State Department of Community Affairs in April. The borough has to pay $40,000 or 10% of the full grant, within the next 2 months. After we receive final notice of release of funds from the DCA, and after environmental reviews, we can then place this matter on our out for public bidding. Once bids are received and vendors are selected, the upgrades can then begin. Next month, the borough will be applying for an additional round of grant funding for the same pumps. Essentially, we will have 2 new pumps as we continue to upgrade the existing ones and keep them functioning.
Mayor, can I say something here about the Mill Street and Delaware Avenue?
Sure.
Actually, I thought that the pumps were completed at Mill Street and Delaware Avenue, and we have backup generators at both locations. It's Strong's Lane that doesn't have a backup generator, and then the passive system is plugged, and that's why we got flooding yesterday.
I also, excuse me, I have to plug my laptop in. I also understand Mr. Bill Simmons from the planning board, he sent me an email and he was saying that the drains have not been cleaned in 15 years.
Yeah, that's probably true. Nor the boxes at the each of the storm water locations. I know they haven't been cleaned since Carney Boyd took over. I've never seen it.
Is Joe Santagrossi on?
I don't know. I was at Strong Lanes today, and the pumps are partially blocked with debris, which are making them hard to pump out water. And I called in.
All right.
Then I saw that email about the pumps were alarming at Mill Street, and they were alarming yesterday morning at Strong's Lane. So I don't know who was on top of these, but it doesn't look very well. Very good.
Hey, can anybody hear me? This is Mark.
Yes, Mark, we can hear you.
I've been trying to dial in. I don't know. I had all kinds of trouble. I'm sorry.
I think we now have a quorum.
Who's on?
Can you
I'm
do
sorry
roll
for being
call?
late.
Mark?
I tried.
Yes. Mr. Burkute,
Here, present.
Ms. Mincy,
Here.
Mr. Oliver,
Here.
Mr. Pasquale,
Here.
Ms. Scott,
Here. Can you hear me, Sharon?
That's
yes,
good. You're on.
thank you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
You can
We
hear
have
me?
quorum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can hear you.
All right, now we can
Okay.
have a regular council meeting. Okay, Lou, in reference to what you were saying, we need to discuss the infrastructure in detail.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're an engineer, right?
Yep.
And Mark's an engineer. And
Yes.
Mike's an engineer. So we have 3 engineers on council. So we need to discuss this further. And I would ask that we set up a meeting, Lou, and invite President Mincy and I to the next Public Works Committee meeting. Whoever's on Public Works, that would be Mark.
Yes.
Invite us
I'll
to the
arrange
next meeting.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll take care of it.
All right.
Excuse me, before we go, Madam Mayor, there should be, I went around to all the pumping stations like 3 weeks ago and inspected them myself. And I put out a memo about all our delinquencies. So there should be a pretty good, and I sent it to Mark Brennemer, I sent it to Steve Cassaboom, I sent it to council and Joe Santagrossi too. So that should be floating around. We can base our meeting from there.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about that stuff today. In fact, and the other day, in anticipation of the storm, and there is some money from the state that we're going to have to get because there are still some pumps that need some work and some outfall.
Hey, Mark, do me a favor. Let's save it for your committee reports, okay? So we don't get too far into it. Okay.
Sure.
All right. Lastly, you'll see that we're preparing to auction 20 borough-owned properties. More details will follow in the coming month, but if you're interested in owning property in the borough, you'll be able to check out the borough website or our Facebook page for more information. The process that we're going to use will be legal, it'll be fair, and it'll be open, and the properties chosen for the first bid is a small portion of how many we have actually in total. I also like to urge everyone interested to being committed to being responsible property owners as you prepare to submit your bids. Over the last 20, there will be a deed restriction that all owners must have the residential property occupied within 1 year of its original purchase. So we have some deed restrictions, some restrictions for the properties. When you want to bid on those properties, there are restrictions. Excuse me, everyone. Let me just let some people in. Kind of distracted. All right. Okay, I'm sure council members have some questions regarding what I just said. For the council members who weren't here, I'm going to repeat what I said in the beginning. In reference to, there's been a lot of questions about the police department. And I just want to note that by state and federal law, as the mayor, I am forbidden to discuss this matter. There's still an investigation underway, and I'll update council in a closed session in a special meeting. We'll have a special meeting next week, and I'll take that opportunity to also update council on pending litigation and personnel matters. All right. As I mentioned, I'm sure council members have some questions, but we're going to hear from the public first. If you want to be recognized, use your raised hand feature. And then once I select you, you're going to state your name and your address, and then you're going to ask your questions. Let me note that this public portion is for agenda items only, which are listed here. So let me just let me scroll down so you can see. Real quick, we have a resolution authorizing refund overpayment to CoreLogic. We also have an amended resolution to hire a special attorney for REM tax sale foreclosures. We have an amended resolution to hire a special attorney for tax appeals. We also have a resolution authorizing professional service agreement between the Borough of Pennsgrove and Triad Associates for grant services for infrastructure improvement to the pumping station at Delaware Avenue and Mill Street. We also have a resolution authorizing a contract between the Borough of Pennsgrove and Triad Associates for professional services for grant services for facility upgrades at the Liberty One Fire Station. We also have a resolution for it's a state contract resolution. We also have one to adopt project funding agreement for Pennsgrove Sewage Authority. Excuse me, let me let some more participants in. Okay, we also have a resolution amending the temporary capital budget. We also have a resolution authorizing service agreement for IT services between the Borough of Pennsgrove and Green Technology. And then we have a resolution voiding sale of properties to Valenciano Corporation. We have a resolution authorizing the invitation of bids for the sale by the Borough of Pennsgrove of real property. So if anyone would like to ask a question, please use the raised hand feature and I will call on you. And as I mentioned, we're only, right now, the public session is only for questions regarding these agenda items that I just read off to you. Are there any questions?
I'm trying to raise my hand, sorry.
You're trying to, who is that?
My name is Cesar Valenciano.
Hello, Caesar.
Hello?
Yes.
Mayor,
Yes.
just a minute. We need a motion to open to the public. I didn't catch that. I apologize.
Oh, yeah, we didn't make the motion. My apologies. Okay. May I have a motion to open to the public for the agenda items only?
Motion.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
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 Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are now open. I apologize, Mr. Caesar. Go ahead and restate. Did you go ahead and ask your question?
My name is Cesar Valenciano, and I have a question in reference to the resolution to rescind the sale of the properties to Valenciano Corporation.
Okay.
The question is, why exactly is this resolution being put on here, on the agenda?
Mr. Linto, can you speak to that, please?
Yes. Hello, Attorney Joseph Linton. Mr. Valenciano, was conveyed to you in the letter that my office sent to you recently. As you're welcome to rebid, it's just a matter you have to get certain affairs in order to be able to do so, as previously explained.
Now, I have not received the letter yet. I did receive a phone call from someone in your office, and I explained to them that the state of New Jersey has my Valenciano Corporation pending reinstatement as of July 2nd. The process takes 6 to 8 weeks according to the state, and due to COVID, it could be an extra 2 weeks. I also sent you an email with the proof of that pending reinstatement. The company was suspended for a tax filing, and I have resolved that with the state of New Jersey.
No, I understand. The reality is that at the time of the sale, the corporation was not in the same manner, it was revoked. So that's what would hold in this given instance.
That is not true. At the time of the sale, it was suspended, not revoked.
That would still apply.
Okay,
I'm happy-
I own
I'm
6
happy-
companies in the state of New Jersey.
No, I understand. I'm happy to discuss further, just this wouldn't be the best forum to do so. You're welcome to call my office tomorrow. I'm happy to discuss further.
So with that being said, he wants to discuss it before the vote, though.
I understand. If that's the case, like you can't sell a property to a non-entity. So the fact that it was suspended at that time is the deciding factor.
I understand what you're saying, and I don't want to carry this on. I get it. You told me to call you tomorrow. However, that suspension, if you take a look at when it happened at the state, it happened a few days before the sale. I was not aware that the suspension had taken place. And I understand I'm supposed to be aware of all my affairs. However, I've asked nothing of the town. I'm very well invested, $250,000 into this town already. And I'm looking to do nothing but better the town. I'm looking for, let's take a look at what the state, or how quickly the state can get this reinstated, or what can we do to help the situation.
No, I understand, and we do appreciate that, of course. We're not trying to impede anything, but just due to the law, I mean, it's been suspended since 2013. I understand there was, say, some oversight at that time. I say that respectfully, but
No,
again,
it was not, sir.
Well, it was suspended, like you just said, a few days prior to the sale. You weren't aware of it. It's still suspended to this day. I mean, it would have to be rectified in order for the bid process to be valid. You are welcome to rebid.
I have the history of the suspension and reinstatements. I'll send it to your office, no problem. But it's not the information that you're getting is not accurate. Furthermore, I understand you're not trying to impede anything. I can appreciate that, but you are impeding my progress. With all due respect, I was the one who bid on it. It's my company. I own 6 of them. It was my person going over there, and I won the bids. You're asking me, what about all the money in 1 year of maintaining these properties? Everything. The land survey, the topographical surveys, setting of corners, trimming down these properties, maintaining them, doing, I have a year's worth of investment into this town. I've already bought a property down and I'm moving into the town. I'm closing on that this week. I wouldn't uproot my entire family and move into a town, and you're going to just sit here and tell me nothing I can do about it. I understand that there is a law. There has to be a legal way to get to the point where we can come to a resolution that's fair. To tell me that I have to rebid on the properties that I already own and I won fair and square doesn't seem fair to me. My apologies if I sound crazy.
Mr. Valenciano, I just have one question for you. When you bid on these properties in your company name, was your company active then? Was it in good standing?
Yes, it was. I was not aware that it was suspended. My company was in good standing. I was suspended. And I finally was able to get somebody to think when I found out about this recently. My company was not revoked. I was suspended. They needed a paperwork and I got it to them.
At the time when you bid on the properties, your company was suspended. You just didn't know it was suspended, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay. This conversation, it really needs to happen in closed session. With that being said, Joe, you're gonna have a conversation with him tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm happy to do so.
Okay. So with that being said, are we pulling this resolution temporarily or what are we doing?
Can we table this for a month?
Let's pull it.
Okay.
I say we table it till next meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay, so do we need to vote on that, clerk, to table this one?
Yes, you're going to pull this one and then vote to table individually, and the rest can be voted as consent.
Okay. All right. So can I have a motion to table this resolution 2020-8-110?
Motion.
Motion to table.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any against, say nay. Any abstentions? Okay, motion carried.
Mayor, this is Mike Burkute.
Hi, Mr. Burkute.
Hi. I just wanted to mention something. Resolution 2811 actually lists those properties that you just tabled as going out for bid.
Okay, then thank you, Mr. Burkute, for pointing that out. We'll also table resolution 2020-8-111 as well. Can I have a motion to table that resolution?
Motion.
Motion to table.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any against, say nay. Any abstentions? All right, motion carried. So those two resolutions will be pulled until the next meeting. And Mr. Valenciano, you're going to give Joe Lento's office a call tomorrow, right?
I will.
Okay.
Mr. Lento, I could be at your office at 9 a.m.
It would be best if you could call, please. We could speak by phone.
Sure thing, sir.
That'll give them the benefit of doubt.
Excuse me?
Tabling it will give them the benefit of the doubt.
All right, so we're moving back up. Before we actually make a motion to by consent for these resolutions, I want to move back up to payment of the bills.
Going to close the public session now?
Yeah. May I have a motion to close public session, please?
Motion to close.
Second.
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 All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any against? Any abstentions? Motion carried. All right. Moving back up to payment of bills and approval of the bill list. May I have a motion to approve the bill list?
Question,
Go ahead.
are there any bills in there from Mr. Lento?
Do you
Did you hear me?
have the bills? The list of the bills? I believe
No.
Steve sent it out.
I didn't see the list of bills.
Okay.
Is there a
and
list
I-
of bills?
Yes, they were
Steve,
emailed to you.
Yeah, he did.
Yes, it is.
Mrs. Mayor, yeah, his billing is on the bill list.
Okay.
What's the issue, Mark?
Want to make sure that the council is aware of all of the services that Mr. Lento is providing, and the council has approved it. Just a question.
Is there a list of bills?
Steve, when did you send the list of bills out?
Let me look up my, Mrs. Mayor.
About 6 o'clock.
Today?
Yes.
Oh, I never saw them.
All right, so do you want to take a moment and look at them, or can we go ahead and make a motion?
The only question I had was, are all of the bills from Mr. Lento's valid for what the council has approved for him to be doing?
For
In other
example,
words, is there any bills in there from him for things that you have asked him to do that the council is not aware of?
like for example, what?
It's just a question.
No, why would I have him do something for me personally, Mark? He's
I just
the
wanted it
acting
on.
solicitor.
I just wanted it on record, so thank you for the answer. Motion to pay the bills then.
All right. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
I also have a question about resolution 228-109.
Okay. Wait till we
I'm
get there,
sorry.
Mark. Wait till we get
Okay.
there. Okay, the next item is approval of minutes for the June 2nd, 2020 minutes. Can I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Mr. Burkett,
I have to admit that I haven't seen the minutes. I might have gotten them, but I haven't seen them. But I approve.
Ms. Mincy,
Yes.
Mr. Oliver,
Yes.
Mr. Pasquale,
Yes.
Ms. Scott.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved. Okay, and can I have a motion to approve the June 24th minutes, please?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Second.
Clerk, can you do a roll call?
Mr. Burkett,
Yes.
Ms. Mincy,
Yes.
Mr. Oliver,
Yes.
Mr. Pasquale,
Yes.
Ms. Scott.
Yes.
Motion approved. Okay, moving back to the resolutions. Mark, did you have a question about these resolutions?
Just about 109, 2020-109.
Okay.
It's about the IT services. Were there
Yes.
solicitations for bids on that?
For green technology?
Was there solicitations from IT companies for that service?
No, we didn't have to do that.
You didn't?
No, they already have a agreement with the police department. We're part of a shared agreement with the county.
Okay, no further questions then.
Okay.
Yeah, they seem to do a
Thank
good job. Green.
All right. Sorry, let me move down. All right. Motion to adopt resolution 2020-8-101 through 2020-8-111, with the exclusion of 110 and 111. May I have a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please, clerk. Thank you.
Ms. Burkett, Mr. Burkett,
Yes.
Ms. Mincy,
Yes.
me, Mr. Oliver,
Yes.
Mr. Pasquale,
Yes.
Ms. Scott.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved. Thank you. All right, we're moving on to the second reading and public hearing for ordinances. So we have 2020-8, an ordinance amending Chapter 47 of the Code of the Borough of Pennsgrove. Motion to open public hearing on ordinance 2020-8.
So moved. Motion to open.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. So we're in public hearing. Mr. Lento?
Yes, Mayor.
This is a motion to open public hearing. We open public hearing for ordinance 2020. -8.
Okay.
Are there any questions or comments?
Can you give us a little summary of what that is?
This is the ordinance on anti-corruption,
Okay.
the second reading on it.
Send you a copy.
Excuse me.
Okay, the public still has it. Are there any questions from the public for this ordinance? All right. May I have a motion to close public hearing on ordinance 2020-8?
Motion to close.
Motion to close.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Motion closed. All right, may I have a motion to adopt this ordinance 2020-8?
Motion to adopt.
May I have a second?
Second.
Clerk, can you do roll call vote, please?
Mr. Burkett,
Yes.
Ms. Mincy,
Yes.
Mr. Oliver,
Yes.
Mr. Pasquale,
Yes.
Ms. Scott.
Sharon, excuse me, what is this one on now?
This is the anti-corruption ordinance, the second reading. It was adopted by
Okay.
title only. Holding a
I'll
public.
say no. No. For me.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, motion approved. Okay. We are moving down to introduction of ordinances for the first reading. This is the first reading and introduction. The public hearing for these ordinances will be on September 1st, 2020 at 6:30 p.m., which is our next council meeting. Ordinance 2020-9. This is a bond ordinance authorizing the completion of various capital improvements. This is relating to equipment for the Pennsgrove Sewage Authority. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2020-9 by introduction?
Motion to adopt.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Clerk, can you do roll call vote, please?
Mr. Burkett,
Yes.
Ms. Mincy,
Yes.
Mr. Oliver,
Yes.
Mr. Pasquale,
No.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
You vote no.
You don't know.
Clerk, so what do we have? How many yeses do we have?
We have 4 yeses and 1 nay.
Okay. Motion approved to adopt by introduction.
Could I,
Okay.
could I say something on this ordinance?
Yeah, if you read it, sure.
I know it's after the fact.
What was your concern, Lou?
Yeah, I have a I have a few concerns. The first is the sewer authority just raised their rates. I don't know, $20 a quarter or something was number one. Number two, from what I'm told, they don't have a computer system for their accounts. I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard this, which I think is it's kind of backward. Number three, we approved, well, no, we didn't approve. Solar panels were put at the sewer authority, and the planning board didn't even approve it. They just did it on their own. And they were it's a private company. It's not the sewer authority. And I didn't think they could, you know, I know as a sewer authority, they could go ahead and install them, but with a private company, they couldn't, and it never even went through the planning board. And then number four, oh, I'm trying to think what it is. It kind of slipped my mind, but I'm kind of, number four is like, we have 7 board of directors for the planning board, or excuse me, for the sewer authority. I'm thinking this is like idiotic. There should be like 3 or 2 or 3 for such a small organization.
Would you like to get rid of Carl Washington and Poindexter?
I'd like to see jobs get phased out there.
Lou, can I make a suggestion that you go to the next sewer meeting and sit in, or maybe give Paul Morris a call? I'm sure he'll be able to answer all your questions and concerns.
Yeah, that's a good one. But I'm kind of leery about now they want to go out for $400,000. And we have to back the $400,000, even though they get a certain amount of money every quarter.
Yeah, no, they pay us back. You're right. We have to issue the bond, but they pay us back on the bond.
Right.
Maybe that's why they raised the rates. I don't know.
The way that it's currently set up, it was approved by the state monitor, but the way that he assisted with this is to make sure that we're not going to be on the hook for this $400,000 like we were on the hook for past monies, let me say. So this is set up differently, Lou, to where we're not going to be on the hook for it, and the sewage authority has to pay us back. Is that correct, Mr. Lento? Am I explaining that correctly?
Yes, this was approved by the state monitor. The rates are actually going to go up if it's not approved.
The rates will go up if it's not approved.
Yes, it was approved by the state monitor.
Okay. Okay, so the
It's gonna
rates
be
will not
approved
go
by the
up.
state monitor? Okay, well, that's good. That's a good thing because he's checking too. Because I'm concerned, especially with the rates increasing, and then we're going to go out for a bond too. I'm going, what?
Yeah, the way it's set up, Lou, the rates for the residents will not go up the way it's set up. So because it's been approved, the rates won't go up. If we didn't approve it, the rates would have gone up.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh. Okay. Well, that's good to know.
I believe the state monitor sent an email out to us regarding it. I'm almost certain you were copied on it, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I might have, just missed it or something. I'll look through my emails again.
Okay. All right. Moving on to 2020-10. This is an ordinance amending Chapter 103 of the Code of the Borough of Pennsgrove for volunteers. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2020-10 by introduction?
I need an explanation of what that is. Why are we having that? What do we need this for? Volunteers.
Did you read that? Did you read the attachment for
Yes.
the ordinance?
Yes.
Because there's lots of things, Mark, that we need help with. And I think it's good to allow interns, college students, and people from the community that would like to volunteer and help out with things in the borough. This is a good ordinance for that. That's the reason for it.
All right, thank you.
They never had anything in the past like this at all? Wow.
All right, motion to adopt ordinance number 2020-10 by introduction.
Motion to adopt.
May I have a second?
Second.
Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Mr. Burkett,
Yes.
Ms. Mincy,
Yes.
Mr. Oliver,
Yes.
Mr. Pasquale,
Yes.
Ms. Scott.
Yes, and question, Sharon, is this just going to be for inside? Will this be for outside stuff as well?
I'm not sure. This would be, I guess, chosen by the governing body for whatever needs you guys may have, according to the ordinance, or the way I read it.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Hold on, excuse me, folks. Let me let a couple folks in. Wow, we've got 57 participants in the meeting today. That's great.
Wow.
All right, moving on to ordinance 2020-11. This is an ordinance, chapter 110 of the code of the Borough of Pensgrove. This is for direct deposit. So that me and Councilwoman Mincy are not signing paychecks, you know, and employees having to come and drive in and pick up their paychecks. This is so that everyone can have direct deposit. All right, motion to adopt ordinance number 2020-11 by introduction. May I have a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
May I have a second?
Second.
Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Mr. Burkett,
Yes.
Ms. Mincy,
Yes.
Mr. Oliver,
Yes.
Mr. Pasquale,
Yes, and this is a great leap forward.
Ms. Scott.
Yes, this is overdue. Been trying to get this since last year.
Yeah, a couple of years.
Yeah, I can give my hand a rest.
Yes.
Okay, so that was all. That was yeses from everyone, right, Clerk?
Yes.
Okay.
Always. Mhm.
Motion approved. All right, next ordinance, 2020-12. This is an ordinance amending chapter 141 of the code of the Borough of Pensgrove, redevelopment. Motion to adopt ordinance 2020-12 by introduction. May I have a motion to adopt?
Motion.
Motion to adopt.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Mr. Burkett,
I have a few reservations, so
Abstain.
I'm going to abstain.
Okay.
Ms. Mincy,
Yes.
Mr. Oliver,
I have a question. Mike, what are your reservations?
Well, I think what I'm worried about is a couple things. The word authority. I don't like to use that because I think that we should first figure out where the town is, and I think it should be an advisory committee, not an authority. And also, I think that we need a lot more people than what's the mayor saying. I like to see this advisory committee be made up of at least one from the sewer committee, 2 from the Parks and Recreation, 2 from nonprofits, 2 from the business community, 2 from the planning board, 1 from the middle school, 1 from the school board, 1 and the zoning officer, and 1 from the police representative. So, I mean, I want to see us figure out where the town is and get input from everybody in the town so that we can come up with a direction forward that everybody agrees to.
Okay, can you motion to amend the ordinance?
Motion to amend the ordinance.
May I have a second?
Second.
Got a
Clerk,
current
can you
motion on the
roll call?
floor.
yeah, Yeah, we have a motion on the floor, so what we need to do with that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it could be voted down.
Okay, so the motion on the floor is for the redevelopment, but we want to amend it. So first we have to vote no for this, right? Is that what we have to do? Because his
Isn't
motion was
this
actually to
resolution
amend
we're
it.
amending it?
So,
You gotta
Mayor,
take the motion off the floor, right?
you don't have to
Scott
agree
finished.
with what I'm saying. I just had that reservation. It doesn't mean that you can leave this the way it is if you want.
This is just a.
No, you can motion to amend it.
This is
No,
just
you don't-
by title, so the body of it, and I would defer to Mr. Lento. He could give his expertise if.
Yeah.
This is just by title.
This is just my.
So that's what you're doing. You're motioning to adopt by introduction only.
Okay, so it can be amended
Now,
if
if
you
you can
want.
come
Yeah.
back
Okay,
and maybe amend the body for the public hearing prior to.
Oh, okay.
then I say yes.
Okay, so let's start over.
Okay,
Motion to adopt ordinance 2020-12 by introduction. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Motion to adopt.
May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Yes. Mr. Burkett,
yes.
Ms. Mincy,
Yes.
Mr. Oliver,
Yes.
Mr. Pasquale,
Yes.
Ms. Scott.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Motion approved. Okay.
It just would need to be amended because in the event the public is interested, it would need to be something that is done like ASAP. Once I advertise, the public has the right to come in and request a copy of the ordinance at no cost.
Okay, I'll work on it this weekend.
Okay.
Is
Okay.
that soon enough, or do I have to stay up overnight?
That should be
That's
fine.
soon enough, Mike.
Okay, thank you.
All
Mike, I
right.
thought you were coming over and help me drain my basement.
All right. Moving on to 2020-8-13.
I
An ordinance
apologize,
amending-
Ms.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Mayor. That should be 2020-13. That 8 should be not there. Should not be there. Can't get my word.
Okay.
It's
All
just 2020-13.
Okay. 2020-13, an ordinance amending Chapter 247 Code of the Borough of Pennsgrove, Fire Prevention. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance number 2020-13 by introduction?
Motion to adopt.
May I have a second?
Second.
Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Mr. Burkett,
Yes.
Ms. Mincy,
Yes.
Mr. Oliver,
Yes.
Mr. Pasquale,
Yes.
Ms. Scott.
Yes.
15.
Okay, motion approved. All right, we are now moving to appointments. So Ryan R. Hoffman submitted a fireman's application to the Liberty No. 1 Fire Department. May I have a motion to approve Mr. Hoffman?
Mayor,
Yes.
I don't have the copies, but one of those people seemed to be only 15 years old. Is that, I don't think he's old enough to be a fireman.
He's
Is
old
he?
enough to be. a senior
They have junior fire.
He's a junior fireman?
Yes.
No, you have to ask the chief, but I think they do have junior firemen.
Okay.
That's the next guy
The
down.
other thing is, I think one of them, I think it was the younger guy filled out the wrong form. He didn't fill out the new amended one.
I received these from the chief, fire chief,
Right.
completed. Mr. Hoffman is a regular fireman. Mr. Farugi is applying for junior fireman.
Okay. The junior fireman filled out the wrong form. He didn't
Oh.
fill out the newest amended one that Hoffman filled out. But other than that, I have no objections to a junior and a senior fireman.
Okay, so let's go through both of each one. Motion to approve, Mr. Hoffman.
Mayor,
Motion.
Did someone just call my
Mayor,
name?
you have a question?
Mayor,
I thought
it's
I
Chief
heard
Hartso from Penns Grove.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. The application that Mike is talking about, that is a copy of the original application because with junior members, we don't give them it's the same application as what you saw with Ryan Hoffman, but it's just a copy of it because we only get so many applications from the state. And after you guys approve it and we approve it at the fire department, it has to be sent to the state. So we don't waste the applications. We just make a copy of the application for the junior fireman to fill out. That's why one's white and the other one's tan.
Okay, when I didn't know what fireman's application was. When I went online, it looked like it was an application to apply for some kind of insurance. And then in there, they said that that the older form will no longer be accepted. It has to be the 15-7 or whatever the newer form is. So you're saying it doesn't matter what form Dominic fills out because he's 15. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because that form doesn't go to the state. That just stays in the borough.
Oh, okay.
So as soon as he turns 18, he has to fill out a new application and reapply all over again.
Okay.
So, and that's when he turns 18. So as a junior, he's only covered through the borough of Penns Grove. So there's not much they can do, but it just gets him involved in the fire department altogether.
Okay. I thought that you were going to start to hire really young guys to put out fires, but that's not the case. Man.
All right. Let's move on, you guys. Okay, so motion to adopt for Mr. Hoffman's application. Motion to adopt.
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Mr. Burkett,
Yes.
Ms. Mincy,
Yes.
Mr. Oliver,
Yes.
Mr. Pasquale,
Yes.
Ms. Scott.
Yes.
Okay. Motion approved. All right. Dominic Ferrugi. He wants to be a junior fireman. His application has been submitted. Can I have a motion to adopt and approve his application?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Mr. Burkett,
Yes.
Ms. Mincy,
Yes.
Mr. Oliver,
Yes.
Mr. Pasquale,
Yes.
Ms. Scott.
Yes.
All right. Motion approved.
I didn't print them out though.
Okay, moving on to committee reports. Buildings and grounds. Mr. Pasquale, Councilman Pasquale.
Okay, thank you,
Uh-huh.
Madam Mayor. I have just a few things I'm gonna hit upon. The first is that the 3 part-time grass cutters are continuing to cut borough properties. And I actually got them one of them out of the 3 to start cutting from the back of the list forward. And so we can possibly catch up with, our so-called 80 properties. And I'm actually having them cut a couple of curbs on the street where there's so much debris, like on Railroad Avenue. They're supposed to run a machine through there and then cut the grass on the curb to open it up so the curb drains water besides their regular cuttings. And the second guy is going to be possibly going down the sidewalks on East and West Main Street and cutting down the tall grass on the sidewalks where he sees it. So try to make the town look a little bit more presentable. The second item is that I had mentioned earlier that I put out an extensive email about the needed upgrades for the pumping system, the delinquencies, and what we do have that are relatively new. But, you know, there's some issues like the outfalls run under the water, and they at high tide, and they really should be above the high tide and not pumping against the river water, things like that. And that's what I like to, you know, I'm asking Steve Cassaboom and Mark Bremner to address, besides the plugged gravity feed system at Strong's Lane.
Did you just mention pumps?
Yeah, our pumps are in pretty good shape. They're relatively all new, to my knowledge.
For the drainage though, isn't that Mark's job? The drainage? Is that public work?
Yeah, they're owned by the town, so I know he handles the street and curbs and the stormwater system, but I figured that with them being part of Pensgrove's property, actual property, that I've been involved there too.
Yeah. And Joe Santagrossi, I might chime in. Joe Santagrossi's been involved. We can talk about it when we have the other meeting, Mayor, to talk about the street contract. It's all part of the same thing.
Okay.
There are a lot of things that Triad or Sickles is going to have to get involved in, because there's a large infrastructure deficiency on the whole stormwater system in the township. It's a lot of dollars, a lot of costs.
Yeah,
There's going to need to be another study done.
The next item is that Triad's starting to push this parking lot issue for the fire company and the EMT building. And I'm glad to see that. I had been on the phone with Triad and with the engineer about trying to move this parking lot forward, because it's just gotten stuck with the COVID-19 issues. And last but not least, because one of our employees was in contact with a virus person, we had the police department sprayed for the virus and wiped down last week. So, because we don't want any of our officers going out with a problem. So we've been trying to stay on top of that. Plus the other side of the borough, we had wiped down and the ductwork clean for the whole building. The carpets clean. So we're trying to stay updated in the cleaning department so we don't get any issues and our people don't get contaminated. Yeah, that's the last item, Mayor.
Okay, I just want to back up a little bit. Mark, you had mentioned that there's you had some communications, you said, with Mr. Santagrossi, right? Email communications. Mark?
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
I don't know how it got muted, but it got muted somehow. Yeah, I was talking to Joe before the storm and after the storm, and they're trying to keep the storm grates clean, check the intakes, but the storm was so violent that the intakes would get plugged up easy because of the debris. But the pumps, they were checking the pumps were running, but like Lou said, there's a lot of infrastructure problems that we have to address. We're going to have a separate meeting and probably hire an engineering company to do a total survey of all the deficiencies and prioritize what we can get done when we can get it done.
Okay.
These have been ongoing. There's collapsed storm sewer pipes. There's pipes that we had to have jetted out that are partially open, et cetera.
Okay. What I was going to say is those emails, they need to become the foundation for a strategic plan for updating the infrastructure. And as it was mentioned, it does seem that we may need a study, because these council meetings, we can't continue to discuss, strategic ideas and things like that. Councilman Pasquale, if you can continue to look at this and but work with me and Mr. Lapp to get the money to address the issues. We want to look for grants and, and or money in the budget, whatever.
Sure.
Okay, Mr. Lab raised his hand. I don't know how long ago he raised his hand. Mr. Lab, did you have a question?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That was a while ago. That was concerning the ID proposal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that you discussed, and the monitor approved it because it's under the bid limit. He approved the proposal, and we're going to be working on bids for 2021. So I just want to clarify that for Mark.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
1 second, looks like we have someone else that wants to join the meeting. All right. Thank you, Mr. Pasquale.
Well,
moving on to general government. Ms. Mincy?
Thank you, Mayor. I have the municipal clerk's report for April. 1 application for a zoning permit, 1 vendor permit, a total of $110. The following, 1 property list, 1 vendor permit. This is for June. 2 retail liquor license renewal, a total of $1,043.12, submitted by Sharon Williams. There's nothing for the month of May, sorry.
All right. Sorry, everyone. I had to close my blinds. The sun was shining on my face. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. That's better. Okay. All right. Ms. Mincy, that's all that you have?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Moving on to housing, zoning, and planning and shade tree. That would be Ms. Scott.
Good evening. The housing officers report for the month of July, we had 20 inspections, 37 pending, 13 COs, 3 zoning permits. We had 150 emails that were handled, 61 recorded messages, 12 housing and zoning violation letters that were issued, 6 housing and zoning violations were resolved. We had 12 summons to appear in court, 31 awaiting court, and that's all I have for the month of July.
Can you tell me more about the 150 emails? Like what the content was?
Okay, we had 54 outbound and 96 inbound.
What was can you give me like a summary of what the content was about, pretty much?
You probably would have to ask Ed on that one.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
He just handled 150 emails.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
So
Ms.
that's
Scott.
probably.
Go ahead.
That's probably responding to the ones when he sent out the letters, different letters and things. So that's probably the response. But just check with Ed anyhow.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
That's all I have.
Okay. Nothing for zoning and planning or shade tree?
No, everything what he puts is on here. So that's all I have.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Moving on to Parks and Recreation and Board of Health. Mr. Vercout?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that Barber Park is still officially shut down. It's closed. Now, I think one of the main gates is open and people are going in and they seem to be maybe just walking around or so. And I don't have any
playing basketball.
Yeah, well, I have a problem with playing basketball.
Okay.
So I guess we'll have to lock that gate again, but it was probably left open so that the Carney's Point can mow the grass. But we'll lock it again. Okay. The Board of Health. Well, we had personnel change in the Board of Health, and Ed Ramsey is now filling in or covering the code enforcement. And his report was that they had 33 phone messages, 15 complaints were issued against people, and 4 summons were issued, and 1 complaint was resolved. And Sharon, if you're there, you can give the vital statistics report, because I didn't see it. Maybe you put it in my
I
file.
don't have that prepared for this month.
Okay, that's fine. That's my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Burkut. All right, moving on to Public Works, Streets and Roads. Mr. Oliver.
Yes, I tried to be a little proactive knowing about this storm coming in, and was in communication with Joe and the street department a couple of days before the getting muted. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah.
So worked with them pretty much every couple hours the day before the storm to make sure that they were going around. And I was watching some of the trucks going around, cleaning off the storm grates and checking the pumps. And once the storm hit, as everybody knows or may not be aware of, the water was so high it was coming over the seawall in some places. And no matter how good the drainage system is that we have, once water starts breaking over the seawall, there's not much you can do. It can only pump so much out. So I think the street department did a pretty good job with what they're working with. So that's my report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Oliver. So we still have to make a motion to approve all of these reports. Oh, Mark, one question. Did they vacuum the drainage? Did they vacuum those out at all?
Vacuum the drainage, what do you mean?
Like, did they try to clean the drains out or anything to prepare for the storm, or that wasn't touched?
Well, I did watch them going around with shovels and rakes cleaning out on the tops of all the storm drain. The grates were like on the corners of the streets, and they did, before the storm hit, clean the intake grates. But once the storm hits, it just massively pushes leaves and tree limbs and stuff up against it. So they were going around and checking it, but it was just overwhelming.
Okay, and in terms of the pumps, some people were reporting that they weren't working. Were they in fact working? They just took a while to turn on, or was it just the storm was too powerful and the pumps were having trouble keeping up?
Well, I had a conversation with Mark Romer today, and he said that one of his guys checked all the pumps, and the pump on the Delaware Avenue end was sometimes kicking out an alarm, and he thought it was because of the intake. So they're going to look at that this week and make a determination whether it was the pump kicking out or whether it was because the intake was plugged. Because you can only keep that stuff off the intake so long when all that water starts washing in there. Mm-hmm. It's almost where you'd have to have somebody there pretty much constantly while the storm is going on, keeping that intake cleaned out. So they're going to let me know what it was.
Okay.
All the other pumps were fine.
Okay. Just remember to please invite me to the next committee meeting that you have, okay, for public work.
I have a note to schedule that, and I'll let you know.
Okay. Thank you, Mark.
All right.
All right. Moving to public safety.
All of my reports, my department heads are here to give their reports. So I have nothing unless they don't show up.
Okay. All right. Well, in terms of public safety, Mr. Oliver, over the past couple of weeks, you've been acting in a way that is in direct violation of the New Jersey Code of Ethics. And how you've been doing that, you have continuously tried to get involved in personnel matters when not permitted to do so. You have interfered with the orderly operation of the borough. Your actions were unfounded, and your actions have actually opened the borough to liability, unfortunately, and I cannot have that. So in light of this, in your activity, I am hereby removing you from the Public Safety Committee as of now. I am removing you effective immediately. I am actually asking Councilwoman Scott or Councilman Pasquale, if either of you would like to be on the Public Safety Committee. And that's a question that I'm asking right now. Ms. Scott, would you like to be on the Public Safety Committee?
I mean, I can be on it.
Okay. All right, so we're replacing Mark Oliver with Deborah Scott on the Public Safety Committee.
All right, I have a question.
What's your question?
I sent out one email and got an email back from Mr. Lintos, and I ceased asking questions. So your accusations are invalid.
Well, actually, they're not. They're not.
I sent out
Mr.
one
Oliver.
email.
They're not, Mr. Oliver. I received a call from the prosecutor Linehan, who stated that they felt the need to come down here and take over our police department because they have been receiving numerous calls from Lieutenant Spira and numerous calls from you. And
Nope, I called one
in your
time.
calls to the prosecutor's office, you were complaining and saying that I wasn't telling you anything and you wanted the chief reinstated. So that's.
Oh, I called there one time. I talked to Chief Hernandez, and he forwarded the call to his assistant. His assistant called me back and returned my call and said that there's nothing they can do. And I said, thank you. That was the phone call.
Okay, and you
So
also
I
asked.
can't help.
Go ahead.
I can't help what other people call down there. That's not my business.
No, that's not. They didn't say other people called. They
You just said Spear called.
No, I'm talking, but I'm not right now. I'm not removing you from the committee because of Spira. I'm removing you from the committee because you called down there. Yeah, you also called the Attorney General's office, and you also asked.
I did not.
Sharon. Okay, well, you asked.
I did
Sharon.
not call the Attorney General's office. I did
Okay.
not call the Attorney General's office.
Okay, you also asked Sharon to put the reinstatement of the chief on the agenda yesterday, and that's not your right, and that's not your place to do that.
It is my right. He didn't
No,
have
it's
due.
not.
He didn't have due process. He didn't even get due process when he was released.
We're working on giving him due process right now, and that is not your place.
Why is it?
So-
I'm on the police committee.
You're no longer on the police committee. If you had any questions.
I
you should
was.
have
on
Don't
the police committee
discuss.
when it happened.
All right. There's no debate on this issue. We're moving on to the finance officer report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I just have one item for tonight's meeting, which is good news. Keeping track of our tax collection rate, our collection percentage can make or break a municipal budget. So I'm going to give you some percentages and a dollar amount. As of 8/05/2020, our tax collection rate is currently 73.18%. Now, at the same time last year, 8/05/2019, our collection rate was only 65.63%. So currently we have roughly a 7.5% increase of our tax collection rate, which roughly translates to over $400,000 increase. Analyzed at the same time this year as of last year. So I just want to let Mayor and Council know some good news about our collection rate, which is a major source of our revenue. We're working good. The tax collector is working good, getting the revenues in. So that's all I have for Mayor and Council tonight.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Madam Mayor.
Okay, moving on to the Chief of Police report. Lieutenant Spira. I think that's who's giving the report today, or Mr. Hernandez, I'm not sure. And if you're speaking, you're on mute. You're probably on mute, so I can't hear you.
There.
Is Lieutenant Spira on the call?
Mayor, I'm on. I keep getting cut off. It's Chief Hernandez.
Hi, Chief Hernandez.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I apologize if I keep getting cut off.
It's okay.
As far as our police department, thank you for having me. For the last week, we've had 156 calls for service. We've had 5 arrests, 65 property and business checks throughout the town. For the month, we've had 938 calls of service, 21 motor vehicle summonses, 6 borough ordinances, 24 arrests, and approximately 431 business and property checks. This was compiled by Lieutenant Spear, so I do appreciate him getting this ready for me. So that's what I have for today. If you guys have any other questions in regards to that, I'm willing to answer it if I can.
I have a question.
Yes, Ms. Mincy.
On his report, if I'm right, that they did last week, we had no tickets issued at all?
That's what it appears like. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I don't understand why when I know, not saying anything to you, but I know I still hear loud music. I still hear these cars zooming down the streets. So I'm sure. Then I still hear the fireworks going off. So I don't understand why there's no tickets at all. Just saying.
Fair enough, Ms. Mincy. Can we discuss this tomorrow?
Yeah.
Just give me a call. Let me know where we're at with any of that. If you have any locations or close proximity to it, and then I'll make sure that we look into it and we handle that accordingly.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Chief.
I have a question for you. Are you actually running the police department now, or is Lieutenant Spear running the police department?
Is this Mr. Oliver?
No, Pasquale.
Mr. Pasquale, how are you doing? I am a monitor of the
Okay.
police
Yeah,
department.
that's what I thought when I spoke to you. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chief Hernandez.
No problem, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the fire chief report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council again.
Hi, Chief Adam.
How are you? I have no report. The only report that I do have is that the truck is close to being done, and hopefully it should be done around the end of August, and we should see it around the second week of September.
Fantastic.
That's great news.
That's all I have.
Thank you. All right, ambulance and EMS captain report. Do we have Debbie Ashcraft on the call? Not sure if you're on.
Debbie Ashcraft is out of town this week.
Okay.
She's
All
on
right.
vacation.
Okay. No problem. All right, we'll move on to my mayoral comment. I just wanted to extend the borough's true gratitude to the Bud organization and Jorge, make sure I'm saying this right, Restrepo. They donated over 900 pounds of all types of cheeses, and they were already boxed up, and we gave out almost 700 boxes to the residents. And I want to also acknowledge members of council that gave up their day to assist in this worthy cause. In no particular order, thank you to Councilman Burkut, Councilman Pasquale, and I also would like to thank Councilwoman Council President Mincy, and our council candidates, Charlene Martin and Jonathan Carter. They also were present and assisted in giving out the boxes of cheeses, and we actually did it at the senior building at Penn Towers. And then after Penn Towers, we went to a couple of the apartment complexes. We drove around the community and gave out boxes of cheeses to people. And then we came down to the riverfront, and we had a lot of cars show up and come and get boxes of cheeses. We even gave some to the bus driver. The driver was coming through, so we gave some to her too. That day made me happy to know that Penns Grove is a caring and tight-knit community. Again, thank you, Bud Organization and Jorge Restrepo. So I just wanted to say that. All right, moving on to the attorney report. Mr. Lento.
Thank you, Mayor. Hello, everybody. Attorney Joseph Lento. Folks, I prepared a report regarding the transfer of 41 South Virginia Avenue, Block 84, Lot 24. I received the transfer package from Murray Honig and it was forwarded to the Salem County Register of Deeds for processing. Once received, I will forward the deed to the clerk. Regarding the transfer of 64 East Main Street, Block 67, lots 20.20.02, 22, 23, 24, and 26. We are waiting on the bank to determine the next course of action. We hope to have a better report at the next meeting. Matter of Flameworks versus the Borough of Pensgrove. My office took part in the initial mediation that was court ordered. At that mediation meeting, we agreed to adjourn the mediation until discovery is exchanged. We do not have a date as of yet. I will keep you informed as this matter progresses. I will be contacting Council President Mincy and the mayor in the upcoming weeks to have a meeting to discuss how the borough will be proceeding. The matter of Pensgrove versus Fenwick Commons LLC. I've reviewed this file. My office is working on finding assets to go after to satisfy part or all of the judgment. The file was received by Mr. Telsey and was not in good shape. Regarding Chief Patrick Riley, as you all may have read in the news, Chief Riley was put on paid administrative leave pending investigation. The borough is awaiting review of the investigative file from the Salem County Prosecutor's Office. There's no further discussion permitted. I will also strongly caution the mayor and council against discussion publicly, which includes email communication. We have to respect Chief Riley's rights. I know I've cautioned everyone prior, but I wanted to again caution everyone, please. A litigation involving Councilman Carl Washington. As you may be aware, a complaint was filed against Borough Council Sharon Williams as the clerk, Carl Washington, and former Mayor John Washington. Judge Gene Chetney of the Superior Court in Salem County removed Mr. Washington from council. I answered the complaint and filed a motion to dismiss on behalf of Sharon Williams. I received correspondence from both Washington's attorneys, and in short, they're demanding the borough pay their legal fees. Working with the mayor, I've worked with Mayor and Council President Carol Mincy on some new ordinances and resolutions that were presented tonight. Thank you.
Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Lento.
I had a question for Mr. Lento. He said he transacted 41. There were two properties he, I don't know, he probably got the deed for or transferred.
What was that question, please?
Yeah, at first you stated there were a couple properties that you transferred the deeds for.
Is that the 41 South Virginia Avenue?
Oh, yeah. And then one other one?
East 64 East Main Street.
Yeah. What were they, properties we sold or something or auctioned?
41 South Virginia Avenue. That's the one that we received the transfer package from Attorney Mary Honig. And the transfer of 64 East Main Street, that was where the bank were waiting to determine the course of action as to how to proceed best.
41 South Virginia Avenue. Huh. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to new business, request for proposals for municipal attorney. I just received an email from an attorney today at 4:05 p.m. stating that he did not submit a bid because he was confused by the RFP request. He stated the date to submit by was dated for a different date in 2019, and he said he mentioned that there was no rate and wanted to know if the job was an unpaid contract. So because of the flaw, so he's saying that he didn't get a chance to submit. He didn't get a chance to. So because of the flawed RFP, I'm tabling this. I want to make a motion to table it, and we'll have to send the RFP out again. Unfortunately, the folks who submitted their proposals will have to resubmit their proposal because the bid was flawed.
Mayor,
So
this is the third time, Mayor.
Yeah.
This is really dragging.
I would ask a question. If somebody misses an RFP date, that's not the fault of anybody else. That's their fault.
No, the RFP date was actually dated to submit by was dated for December 2019. So they didn't know when to submit by, and they missed the date. They didn't know.
Sharon, so that's what was on the RFP, Sharon?
Not to my suggestion, it was brought to my attention that any questions needed to be submitted by December. I didn't receive any questions or concerns, even with that respect.
Yeah, so he was confused by it. So we will need to fix and I guess republish the RFP request. So you know, that's considered a technical error on our part. It's just a technical error. It's no big deal, but we do have to fix and republish the bid.
So every RFP has to reapply again.
Yes, to make it fair, you know, for everyone.
This will be the first time.
No kidding. We've been trying to do this since January. We're in August now. All right.
Running out of the year.
Yeah. Can I have a motion to fix and republish?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Who was that?
Mr. Mike.
Okay. Clerk, can you please do roll call?
Mr. Burkett,
Yes.
Ms. Mincy,
Yes.
Mr. Oliver,
No.
Mr. Pasquale,
No.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Okay. Motion approved
motion passes.
to fix and republish. All right. Second item, Citizens Police Advisory Board. Let me just read something for that. The Citizens Advisory Committee, the mayor may appoint one or more persons as a citizen advisory committee to assist or collaborate with the planning board in its duties, but such person or persons shall have no power to vote or take other action required of the board. Such person, hold on, getting my notes. Such person or persons shall serve at the pleasure of the mayor. This is according to section 85-10 of the administrative code. So I just wanted to, and I made a mistake. I didn't mean planning board. The Citizens Advisory Committee, what they'll do is it'll consist of citizens, and what they'll do is they'll collaborate and they'll come, you know, they'll have their meetings and they'll bring recommendations and suggestions to the police committee, the public safety committee. They don't have any voting action. They have no power, anything like that. But I think it's really good to have citizens make recommendations or at least voice their concerns to the public safety committee, which would then communicate that to the chief. And that would be very helpful. And I think it will help to restore the trust of the community along with the police department. At the rally, we had a rally in March. Well, we didn't, but there was a rally that the children put together in March. I had promised to give the community a voice in policing, and this is what solidifies that. So I'd like a motion to create. May I have a motion to create the Citizens Police Advisory Committee?
Motion to create.
May I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Clerk, could you do roll call, please?
Mr. Burkett,
Can she hear him?
Yes.
Ms. Mincy,
Yes.
Mr. Oliver,
Yes.
Mr. Pasquale,
I abstain.
Ms. Scott.
Yes.
Okay. Motion approved to create the Citizens Police Advisory Committee. Thank you, everyone. I think that this is really good, and I think that it's a great step into bridging the gap between the community and our police department. That's one of my main goals, is to bridge that gap and to create trust between the residents and the police department. Okay, moving to public portion. 1 second. we've got some more people. Wow, we are just a full house today. Okay. All right, motion to open the public portion of the meeting. Can I have a motion to open the public portion?
Good move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. What happened to my screen?
Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Mr. Burkett?
Yes.
Ms. Mincy?
Yes.
Mr. Oliver?
Yes.
Mr. Pasquale?
This is for the open portion?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
All right. If anyone in the public would like to ask a question, please use the raise hand feature. And you get 3 minutes because we'll be here all night. Is there anyone who would like to ask a question from the public or make a comment? If you do not know how to use the raise hand feature, just if someone like to speak, just state your name, unmute yourself and state your name and your address. Okay, we have John Carter. So Mr. Carter, please state your name and your address.
Jonathan Carter, 50 North Borough Street, Pennsgrove, New Jersey. The only thing I was going to basically say was, as far as to do with the ticket portion of the town hall or the board meeting, I know Broad Street, North Broad Street, they fly up and down the street all day. If you were just to put a car possibly anywhere on one of these side streets on North Broad, I'm quite sure you will catch a lot of people flying up and down the street. I stand outside on my porch and people come by doing 40, 50, 60 as if they're on 295. So North Broad Street, I'm sure the whole Broad Street is probably an issue, but North Broad Street, they definitely fly up and down.
Okay. Thank you. We will share that with the police chief and the public safety committee. Thank you, John. Was there anything else that you wanted to say or ask?
No. Other than, the stormage drain thing, that I do see that as an issue. I seen a lot of people post on that on Facebook yesterday. I know last week, me and my dad was cleaning up our street, as far as, he was scraping up like the grass and stuff that grows on the sidewalk. And as he went down towards the corner of Harmony and Broad Street, that gutter was almost full to the top, so it was like, and he pointed it out to me, because after he was power washing the sidewalk, which did create a lot of mud, and he basically scraped from the corner of Griffin all the way down to the corner of Harmony Street, cleaning up the mud. And he was like, I could easily put it in the gutter. And he was like, just look how full it is. But he's like, I'm going to put it back on the soil and let it just go back to the earth, But when he showed me that, the gutter was almost like completely full up to the top. So, like I said, I don't know if that is part of the issue with the drainage system, but the way it was full, I can see how it can possibly cause an issue.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Carter. We will definitely be addressing that at the Public Works meeting. All right, is that it, Mr. Carter?
Yes, that's all from me.
Okay, thank you. All right, is there anyone else from the public that had a question or comment? I don't see any raised hands. So if you do, please, okay, Mr. Valenciano.
The committees that you took a vote to propose to put on, when will these committees be put together, and how do we become part of the committees? I would like to be as involved in the town as possible, being as how I am closing on a house and moving, becoming a resident of the town. And I too am only looking for a betterment of the town. So I'd like to be as involved as possible. where do we find more information on these committees?
Once we put things together for the committee, then we're going to open it up to the public, and then we're going to let people know. So I'm assuming it'll be the same process that we usually do for all committees that the public wants to be a part of. They fill out a form and they submit it. What I will do, if you can inbox me your email address. I think you sent me an email, but I'm not sure. But just if you can inbox me your email address, I'll be sure to send the form out to you or provide you with more information.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It's in your inbox already.
Okay. We have Mr. Hudson.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Walter Hudson, Pennsgrove. You know, I want to bring to, and excuse me, Mayor, I may be over like 3 minutes because I believe like what I'm going to discuss, it needs attention. So, you know, pardon me if I, you know, run over. But I want to bring attention to Councilman Mark Oliver. I haven't said too much. You know, I've been on and off from the Zoom meetings and everything, and just seeing what's going on. And I noticed things under Mayor Thomas' administration that did not take place, which should have taken place under Mayor John Washington, former Mayor John Washington administration, and it didn't. So it seems like, you know, Mark Oliver is questioning the solicitor on his actions, or, you know, whatever with the borough. And yet, but when Adam Telsey was the solicitor, everything was a free-for-all. There was no challenging. Everything was okay. So again, you know, it leads me to believe that either Councilman Mark Oliver have a problem with a woman being in leadership, or he has a problem with a Black woman being in leadership, right? Because I seen Mr. The new solicitor, Mr. Joe. I seen Joe do more work since he been appointed as the interim solicitor than the former solicitor done during his time there. And it seems like Councilman Oliver, he's okay with the way this town's being run previously. So he wants the status quo in place, and it's like he'll stop at nothing. So here's what I'm going to propose to you, Councilman Oliver. I demand your resignation, and here's why. Because you are unfit to lead Pennsgrove, for one. For two, you have failed continuously to do your job. Looking at these streets, looking at these roads, anything that's under your control, it looks horrible. You're too busy questioning the interim solicitor about his job, but you need to take a look at the man in the mirror, which is you, about why these streets are looking the way it's looking. And every time there's a storm or whatever, just like it was, you come with all this, oh, well, we're doing the best we can with what we got. Well, you've been doing the best you can for all this long. And yet it leads to people being put up in hotels because their house was flooded. And they're being displaced, you know, from their home. And this happens all the time. But yet you want to sit up here and challenge Mayor Thomas. You want to challenge the solicitor when you're not doing your job. Now you lost in the primary, so therefore you have served no purpose to help lead Pennsgrove to a better place. So I demand your resignation, because come November, it's over for you anyway. Come January, it's really over for you anyway. And I'm going to take it a step further. Mayor Thomas, I would like to request a open permit to shut down Church Street, and here's why. Because if Mark Oliver does not resign, we're gonna put about 100 people in Church Street in front of his house. Because as you see what's going on around this country and in this world, we are tired of police brutality. We are tired of corruption, and we're not going to take it no more. So, Mr. Mark Oliver, you have a decision to make. Either you resign, or I'm putting protesters in front of your house. We shutting it down. And even if I don't get the open permit, we're going to be out there anyway. And yes, I said dates. I need open dates, because we're not just going to do it one day. We're going to do it until you resign. And if I get arrested, so damn be it. Because that's how far I'm willing to go, to get arrested, to put the spotlight on you for your insubordination and your lack of leadership. So you either resign, or you're going to have to deal with me and my crew, right? Because you've seen what my daughter did and her co-organizer did. They put 400 people in the streets. That was them. I had nothing to do with that. Right?
Mr. Hudson, I'm sorry.
So just imagine, let me finish, Mayor. Just imagine.
No, you shouldn't.
If I'm organizing something, we're not playing no games. So don't ask, is it going to be peaceful? Don't ask nothing like that, because you're not peaceful. You're not cooperating with the residents of the community. And I will say this, I'm going to say this, Mayor, I don't know what's going to happen with the new chief, whether he's coming back or not, but here's what I will say. I am totally against Lieutenant Spira taking over the head, if need be, of Penn's Grove community, because he have not been fair to black and brown, even poor white people in this community. So I would totally against, if something happens to whether chief not come back, I'm totally against it. And it's time to clean house. And Mark Oliver, Debbie Scott, and Lou Pasquale, all of you should go, because you have done nothing. You cannot put your finger on anything that you have done to make this township better. So here's my contention is this.
Get him off.
3 minutes are up.
Get him off.
If Mark Oliver does not resign, we in front of his house. If Mark Oliver does not resign,
cut him off, man. Enough is enough.
All right.
This is why we can't get nothing done for this foolishness.
All right, let's move
foolishness got to go. I'm telling y'all, this stuff got to go. There's nobody squeaky clean. Nobody.
I'm gonna
nobody is squeaky clean. Y'all need to stop this bull. There's nobody squeaky clean.
Miss Scott, I'm gonna ask you to stop. We don't need to be doing this.
Y'all should have made him stop.
Miss Scott, I'm speaking. We don't need to do this in front of people. That's why
you allowed him, Mayor, to do it.
I just removed him, and I'm not gonna accept our council people doing that either. Miss Scott, I'm just saying, I understand what you're saying. And no, we're not gonna have that. So I'm just asking people to calm down. This is not a good look at all.
No, it wasn't a good look.
So I have removed him from the meeting. So let's move on. We have someone else that just raised their hand. Please state your name.
Greg Martin, 46 Fruit Street. Can you hear me, Mayor?
Yeah, you're a little muffled.
Let me try something else. Can you hear me a little bit better now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I don't know who's just questioning. So I spoke to I think Mr. Ed Ramsey over a week ago.
What is your name?
Say that again.
What is your name and address?
I'm having trouble hearing you.
Hold on, I'm gonna take this thing off. Hold on 1 second. Let me try this. Let's try that. Me now, Mayor?
No.
Hello?
No.
Hello?
You're breaking up. Speak one more time. Hello?
Hello?
That's better.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. I'm sorry, could you restate your name, please?
Hello?
Yes, can you restate your name, please?
Oh, there. it is. Hello?
Yes, can you hear us?
Can you hear me now? I apologize.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you restate your name?
Yeah, my name is Gregory Martin off Spruce Street. I just got a question. I'm not sure. I spoke to Ed Ramsey over a week ago. Can someone explain me the guidelines around fencing?
Who can address Mr. Martin's question around fencing?
That was something
call-
you would speak with the zoning official
Probably
about.
Yeah, you could talk to the code official. He would know right off the bat.
Zoning official.
Is that
Yeah.
is that Mr. Ramsey, Mr. Oliver?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I got that. Okay, that's all. Well, I did speak to him, but he never followed up. So I wanted to be sure that I knew the correct guidelines and around some fencing I have an issue with.
Okay.
Sometimes there's easements. Sometimes there's easements and height requirements, but you'd have to talk to him.
Okay, will do. Thank you. That's all I needed.
Thank you. All right, is there anyone else from the public that wants to ask a question or make a comment? If so, please state your name, unmute yourself and state your name and your address. And you get 3 minutes to talk.
While we're waiting, Mayor, I want to go on record and have the record show that Walter Hudson has threatened me officially. So I will go on record and I will call my attorney tomorrow.
Okay. All right. If there's no one else from the public, I'd like to make a motion to close public portion of the meeting. May I have a motion to close?
Good move.
May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, the public portion of this meeting is closed. Now I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Good move.
Motion. Second.
Second, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you. This meeting has been adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for joining the meeting. Have a good evening.
Right.
Thank you.
Oh, there was a lot of people on there. Yeah, now when they're getting off, I can see. Look, well, I don't know why Mark Brunemer didn't say nothing.
Yeah, but who can follow water up?